My name is Staff Sergeant Luther Anderson. Today's date is Thursday, 30th day of January 2003. September the 11th, I was in my office here at the Pentagon in room 5 Echo 840. That day was just like any other day. Very pretty outside. My particular office doesn't have windows, so we get all of our weather and information from the day from the TV, which this particular day we had on. We usually don't have the TV on first thing in the morning, but we had the TV on. It was myself, my supervisor, Mr. Mike Wells, and one of my soldiers, Sergeant Rolando Moore. Myself and Sergeant Moore, we usually come in the morning in civilian clothes and change into our military uniform once we arrive. As we were changing into our uniform, me and Mr. Wells were talking about the events or the things that we were going to take care of that day. And I remember Fox 5 News had a breaking news interrupt the local scheduled programming. And the only thing we saw was the first building starting to burn, World Trade Center. Of course, no one knew what had taken place. So we just went on with our day, basically. Sergeant Moore had already changed into his uniform, and I was finishing up changing into mine when they went back to the scene, and you seen the second plane actually hit. Everyone in my office, of course, was just totally stunned. No one said anything for about a minute. We just were just fixed to the TV. Now we were talking about we could see that happening here because the particular job that we do, we have to go on the roof of the Pentagon and work on the air conditioner unit sometimes. And it's been many times since I've been stationed here that we will be on top of the roof and you can see planes coming overhead to land at Reagan National, and the plane would be so low you could see details of the plane that you normally shouldn't be able to see. But I guess the flight path was directly over the Pentagon and no one really thought anything of it. And we were saying that something like that could happen to the Pentagon because of the flight path and how the planes be that low. Sergeant Moore and Mr. Wells left out of the office to start a job in another part of the Pentagon, one of our first assignments for that day. And I stayed in the office because, as I said, I hadn't finished changing into my duty uniform. I called over to Roslyn, where our personnel service office is located, and I was talking to an NCO over there, and I was asking him were they aware of the situation that was going on in New York. And he said they had a radio but they didn't have a TV. Right when he said they didn't have a TV, there was a very, very loud explosion, almost like an earthquake. Things were falling out of the ceiling. Computers shifted on the desks. The lights flickered. And I remember telling him I have to go. Something just happened here at the Pentagon. And I hung up the phone. I opened up the door and I looked out, and everyone on the hallway of E-Ring, where I was located, stepped out the hallway, and basically had the same reaction I did. What just happened? So the first thing I did was ran out of my room and ran to the area where my soldier and my supervisor was working to make sure they were okay. I got there and they met me halfway, running back to the office to see if I was okay. Without thinking about nothing else, we turned and left and went down the stairs. And as we were going down the stairs, we were going down the stairs closest to the center courtyard. And as we were going down the stairs, we looked out the window, and the only thing you seen was just black smoke everywhere. So we made it out of the building. Of course, that was a frantic scene there, making it out of the building with everyone running and crying, and police officers trying to gain some type of control. We got outside, and we was in South Parking. And I remember my soldier, Sergeant Moore, saying, "We need to go." And I agreed with him. We needed to go around to where we seen the smoke coming from to offer any assistance that we could. We didn't exactly know what had happened. The only thing we knew was an explosion and black smoke. So as we ran from South Parking around to Corridor 3-4, we realized that that particular area was where some of our soldiers from our unit was located. And as we got there, we seen plane parts scattered, and it was evident what had happened. The first thing we did was get as close as we could to the building, and there were people coming out. So the first people that were coming out, we just ran over and grabbed them and carried them out to the sidewalk. I remember the first person that I assisted was a black female. Don't know her name. Don't know if she made it or not, but I know she was severely burned from her head down to her toes. Her skin was she was in bad shape. And I remember her laying on her stomach and her head over to the side, and she wasn't saying anything. She just had a blank stare. Just a blank stare. The next individual I helped was a young man that was completely dressed from his waist down. Nothing was wrong with him. He was a civilian. He still had the shine on his shoes. But from the waist up, from his stomach up, he was just totally burned. His eyes were bloodshot red. And he was just screaming that it hurt so bad. It hurt. It hurt. I was trying to comfort him, tell him it's going to be okay. At that point, I don't think I had feelings or emotions. I just acted, trying to help someone. My soldier, Sergeant Moore, he tried to go back in the building, of course. He couldn't get back in. They wouldn't let anyone back in. So we stayed there, and we helped as much as we could. We did everything within our power to help the situation. Whatever was needed, we volunteered. We weren't thinking. We was just trying to help those people, because I don't want to say it was what we was trained to do. It was just instinct for us to just do that, to help someone. We stayed there until 1 o'clock the next morning. And as I drove home that morning and got to my apartment complex, that's when it really hit me what had happened. And I sat out in my truck, and a lot of emotions came over me then. feelings of anger, feelings of sorrow, feelings of hurt, a little bit of helplessness. And I went to bed that night and I really didn't sleep because I was right back up at 5 o'clock in the morning and right back here at the Pentagon. It still bothers me a little bit. The sights, the smells, the screams. It still bothers me a little bit, but I'm coming to grips with it a lot better. There were people that died in the Pentagon that I did know. And I know they're in heaven looking down now. That was a tragic day, a very tragic day. So as I prepare to leave the Pentagon and move on to another assignment, I'll never forget what happened September the 11th, 2001. Thank you.